2010, Odyssey 2, Space Odyssey #2 by Arthur C. Clarke. The New Opportunity. The New Opportunity. Dr. Heywood Floyd sat in the quiet of his office, the walls lined with memories of a lifetime spent reaching for the stars. His fingers hovered over the resignation letter, a decision that weighed heavily on his heart. It wasn't just a job he was leaving, it was a part of who he had become. But the call from Jupiter, an enigmatic signal from the Chinese spacecraft Xi'an, as it approached the gas giant, had stirred the world's curiosity and beckoned him to a new adventure. It represented a historic moment, the first time a nation had laid claim to another world. "Heywood, are you sure about this?" Dr. Chandra's voice broke the silence, his expression filled with concern. Floyd looked up, his eyes steady and determined. "I've never been more certain of anything. This is bigger than us, Chandra. It's about the future and the legacy we leave for the generations who will continue to reach for the stars." Chandra nodded, his eyes reflecting the weight of their mission. "And what about Hal? We can't leave him in the dark after all he's been through. The unusual signals we received from him before the malfunction, the conflicts in his communications. We owe it to him to bring him back online and understand what happened." The office door swung open, revealing Walter Kurnow, his face alive with enthusiasm. "Gentlemen, if we're going to beat the Xi'an to Jupiter, we need to get going. The world is captivated by the signal, and the implications it carries for space exploration and international relations are immense." Floyd smiled, feeling the warmth of camaraderie. "Let's not keep the universe waiting. We have a signal to chase and a mystery to unravel." With a sense of shared purpose, the trio made their way to the launch pad, where the mighty Alexei Leonov stood ready, its engines a promise of the journey ahead. As they boarded the spacecraft, Floyd felt the vibrations beneath his feet and heard the deafening roar of the engines. The gravity of the moment was palpable, both in the physical pull of the Earth and the weight of hope and expectation. Captain Orlova, who had been overseeing the final preparations, spoke through the intercom. "Dr. Floyd, the crew is ready for departure. We're just awaiting your go-ahead." "Thank you, Captain Orlova," Floyd replied, his voice steady despite the tumult around him. "Let's set course for Jupiter. We have a signal to follow and answers to find." The engines thundered to life, and as the spacecraft ascended, Floyd watched Earth recede, a blue marble filled with his past and the loved ones he hoped to secure a future for. The stars beckoned, and with his trusted friends by his side, Dr. Heywood Floyd ventured into the unknown, toward the new opportunity that Jupiter presented. As the Alexei Leonov pierced the sky, the rumble of the engines grew louder, and the vibrations intensified, shaking the very foundations of the launch pad. The spacecraft tore through the atmosphere, leaving a trail of flames and smoke in its wake. Sonic booms echoed through the air as it broke the sound barrier, a testament to its incredible speed. The G-forces pushed Floyd back into his seat, his heart racing with excitement and a hint of fear. The ascent was a blur of noise and motion, but as the spacecraft reached orbit, the engines died down, and an eerie silence fell over the crew. The stars twinkled like diamonds against the blackness of space, and Jupiter, a gas giant of immense proportions, loomed in the distance, its signal calling to them like a siren's song. Floyd felt a sense of awe wash over him as he gazed out the window. They were really doing it. They were on their way to Jupiter to unravel the mystery of the signal and to stake their claim on the vast expanse of the unknown. The universe was full of secrets, and Floyd was determined to uncover them one by one. The race to Jupiter. Aboard the Russian spacecraft, Alexei Leonov, Dr. Heywood Floyd, Dr. Chandra, and Walter Kurnow were locked in a race against time and the Chinese spacecraft Xi'an to reach the abandoned Discovery near Jupiter. "Dr. Floyd, we've received an update on Xi'an's trajectory. said Tanya, the mission specialist, her voice cutting through the hum of the spacecraft. "They've overshot. They're heading towards the outer satellites." Floyd furrowed his brow, the weight of command settling on his shoulders. "What are our options?" Vasily, the navigator, shook his head. "We stick to the plan. We can't afford a detour. Not with our fuel." The crew gathered around the central console, their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the screens. Walter Curnow, the systems specialist with a demeanor as warm as his bear-like build, clapped his hands together. "All right, team, let's focus on getting Discovery back online. We've got a monolith to investigate and a mystery to solve. It's the same monolith that was discovered on the moon, and we still don't know its purpose or origin. Unraveling its secrets could be the key to understanding the alien presence in our solar system." Dr. Chandra, ever the meticulous scientist, nodded in agreement. "And we must ensure Hal is fully operational. We need his assistance to unravel the secrets of Jupiter and the monolith." Dr. Chandra's fingers danced across the console, bringing the AI back to life. "Hal, do you understand the mission?" he asked. "I do, Dr. Chandra," Hal's voice responded, calm and measured. "I am ready to assist the crew of the Alexei Leonov." As the spacecraft edged closer to Jupiter, the crew's anticipation grew. The sight of the gas giant with its swirling storms and majestic bands was a reminder of the vastness of their undertaking. "Look at that," Walter said, pointing at the view screen where Jupiter loomed large. "It's like a giant marble." Floyd joined him, his eyes reflecting the planet's grandeur. "It's more than that, Walter. It's a reminder of how small we are in this universe." Just then, an urgent message from the CN crackled through the comm system. "Alexei Leonov, this is CN. We're experiencing a critical malfunction in our life support system. We need immediate assistance to repair or replace the faulty oxygen generator. Without it, our crew will suffocate within hours." The crew exchanged worried glances. "We can't help them," Vasily said, his voice firm. "We have our own mission to think about. If we divert course, we risk losing our chance to investigate the monolith." "But we can't just leave them out there," Floyd argued, the conflict evident in his voice. "We're the only ones close enough to help. If we don't, it'll be on our conscience." Walter's face darkened. "We're not exactly swimming in spare parts, Floyd. What are we supposed to do? Magic up a new oxygen generator?" Dr. Chandra's eyes darted between the two men. "We have to think about the bigger picture. If we help the CN, we'll be delaying our own mission. But if we don't, we'll be abandoning our fellow space travelers to die." The debate raged on, with each crew member weighing in on the dilemma. The tension in the room grew as the fate of the CN's crew hung in the balance. Finally, Tanya spoke up, her voice tense. "We also have to consider the political implications. The world is watching this race to Jupiter, and how we handle this situation could have repercussions for international relations." Floyd rubbed his temples, the weight of the decision bearing down on him. "We need more information. Tanya, see if you can establish a secure channel with Cyan and get more details on their situation. Vasily, run some simulations on potential detour routes and fuel consumption. Let's buy ourselves some time to make an informed decision." As the crew sprang into action, the tension in the air thickened. The fate of the Cyan's crew hung in the balance, and the crew of the Alexei Leonov found themselves grappling with a moral dilemma that would test their resolve and challenge their sense of humanity amidst the cold vastness of space. Friendship in space. Dr. Haywood Floyd sat in the observation deck of the Alexei Leonov, staring out at the vast expanse of space. Walter Curnow, the ship's engineer, floated beside him in zero gravity. "Hey, Doc, what's on your mind?" Walter asked, his voice warm and friendly. Floyd turned to him, appreciative of the distraction. "Just the weight of our situation, Walter. We've got a lot to process." Walter nodded sympathetically. "I know what you mean. It's been a tough few days." Their conversation turned to lighter topics, and Floyd found himself opening up to Walter about his life on Earth. In return, Walter shared stories about his family and his love for old cars. As they talked, Floyd realized that he had been neglecting his relationships with the crew. Walter's willingness to listen and share his own experiences made Floyd feel a sense of belonging. As they parted ways, Floyd felt a sense of gratitude toward Walter. He had helped him see that even in the vast emptiness of space, human connections were essential to survival. And as he settled into his quarters, Floyd knew that he would carry this newfound understanding with him, like a beacon of hope in the darkness of the cosmos. The warning from Jupiter. The control room of the spaceship Leonov was usually a place of routine checks and quiet conversations, but today was abuzz with an unusual tension. Dr. Haywood Floyd, his eyes wide with disbelief, stared at the screen where a message flickered. A message from someone claiming to be David Bowman. "Can this be real?" Floyd muttered, rubbing his temples. "Bowman, is that really you?" On the screen, the words scrolled with an eerie calmness. "This is David Bowman. You must leave Jupiter within 15 days. Walter Curnow, the engineer, leaned over Floyd's shoulder, squinting at the screen. 15 days? That's impossible. We don't have the fuel for an early departure. Dr. Chandra frowned deeply. We must consider this a serious warning. Remember, Bowman was transformed here. He might know something we don't. The crew gathered in the observation lounge, their faces reflecting the gravity of the situation. Captain Tanya Orlova, her voice steady but concerned, addressed the group. We face a difficult decision. We can't ignore this warning, but leaving now goes against all our plans. Floyd nodded, his mind racing. We needed to think about Hal too. He's been acting differently. If there's a real threat, we should tell him about it. We can't risk him malfunctioning again. Captain Orlova's eyes scanned the room, her gaze lingering on each crew member. Let's gather all the data we can and discuss this further. We'll make a decision in the morning. As the meeting dispersed, the crew members exchanged worried glances. Now, this warning from Bowman added a new layer of uncertainty. Floyd couldn't shake off the feeling that they were missing something crucial. He turned to Curnow and asked, Walter, can you hack into Hal's system and see if he's detected anything unusual? Curnow nodded and began typing away on his console. After a few minutes, he looked up, his brow furrowed. Haywood, I think I found something. Hal's been monitoring some strange energy readings around Jupiter's core. He's been trying to analyze them, but they're beyond his capabilities. Floyd's eyes widened. That could be the source of Bowman's warning. We need to tell the captain about this. As they relayed the information to Captain Orlova, the tension in the control room grew. They knew they had to make a decision soon. The mysterious Zagadka. As the Leonov spacecraft drew closer to Jupiter, the crew's excitement and curiosity grew. They had been searching for answers to the mysterious signal emanating from the planet, and finally, they were about to get their first glimpse of the source. Captain, I'm reading an object ahead approximately 100 miles away, announced Dr. Chandra, his eyes fixed on the radar screen. Captain Tanya Kerbuk's expression turned serious. Put it on screen, Chandra. The main console flickered to life, displaying an image of a massive rectangular object hovering near Jupiter's Lagrange point lone, a position in space where the gravitational pull of Jupiter and the Sun balance, allowing an object to maintain a stable orbit. What in the world? Haywood Floyd breathed, his eyes wide with wonder. It's enormous, Walter Curnow whispered. And look at its shape, Dr. Chandra added, straight-edge geometrical perfection. It's unnatural. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. This was no natural phenomenon. Captain, I recommend we exercise extreme caution, Dr. Chandra advised. We don't know what this thing is or what it's capable of. I agree, Captain Kerbuk said firmly. We'll observe from a safe distance and run some tests before deciding our next move. As they continued to observe the object, dubbed Zagadka by the crew, they began to notice its peculiarities. It showed no signs of damage or wear, no indication of having been bombarded by space debris over millions of years. "This is getting weirder by the minute," Walter Curnow muttered. "I know," Haywood Floyd replied, "but we can't afford to be complacent. We need to learn more about Zagadka before we can decide what to do next." The crew nodded in agreement, their minds racing with questions. What was Zagadka's purpose? Was it a threat to their mission, or even humanity itself? And what secrets lay hidden beneath its impenetrable surface? "Captain, I think we should inform Hal about our discovery," Dr. Chandra suggested. "We need to be transparent with it about the risks involved," Dr. Chandra continued. "Hal's assistance might be crucial in navigating this situation." Captain Kirbuck hesitated, her brow furrowed in thought. "I agree that we should keep Hal informed, but let's ensure we provide only the necessary details for now. We don't want to trigger any unexpected responses." As the crew deliberated, their eyes kept shifting between the enigmatic Zagadka and the silent Hal. The tension in the room was palpable. "I suggest we start with a remote scan of Zagadka," proposed Dr. Elena, the ship's astrobiologist. "We can use our instruments to gather data on its composition, energy output, and any potential signs of activity. That way we can gain a better understanding without putting ourselves at risk." "Agreed," Captain Kirbuck nodded. "Let's proceed with caution. Chandra, prepare a remote scanning protocol, and Elena, stand by to analyze any data we receive." The crew set to work, their eyes flicking between their instruments and the imposing form of Zagadka on the screen. The silence was heavy, each member lost in their thoughts, wondering what secrets this mysterious object held and what their encounter with it would mean for their mission and humanity's future. Jupiter's transformation. Dr. Haywood Floyd, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and fascination, watched the live feed from the external cameras as Jupiter, the gas giant they had studied for so long, was undergoing a transformation. Billions of mysterious alien artifacts known as monoliths were absorbed into the planet, converting its mostly hydrogen composition into denser material, potentially neutron matter. This process caused Jupiter to collapse and increase in temperature, eventually igniting fusion and turning the planet into a miniature star. "Look at that," Walter Curnow whispered, pointing at the screen where Jupiter's image was rapidly shrinking and brightening. It's like it's being reborn." Dr. Chandra's voice broke the silence. "The monoliths are converging on Jupiter's core, orchestrating its rebirth." Floyd turned to Hal, the AI they had all grown to trust. "Hal, can you give us a status update on Jupiter's condition?" Hal's voice, calm as ever, filled the room. "The monoliths are converging on Jupiter's core. The planet's mass is decreasing, and its brightness is increasing exponentially. It appears to be a controlled reaction, not a natural phenomenon." The crew gathered around the monitors, watching as Jupiter transformed into a glowing cocoon, pulsating with energy. The once massive planet now resembled a brilliant hollow shell, with a central star at its heart. The light from the transformed Jupiter was more intense than even the reflected light of the sun, casting an otherworldly glow over the surrounding space. The control room was silent, save for the soft hum of the ship's systems and the occasional beep from Hal's console. The crew's faces were bathed in the bright, pearly white light emanating from the view screen, their expressions a mix of awe, wonder, and concern. Then, with a suddenness that took everyone's breath away, Jupiter's light burst forth in a blinding flash. The cocoon shattered, revealing a brilliant new star where the planet once orbited. "We're witnessing the birth of a star," Floyd said, his voice filled with awe. The crew of the Alexei Leonov, along with their AI companion, watched as the new star shone brightly, a beacon of change in the solar system. They knew that their mission had taken on a new meaning, and that their lives and the lives of all humanity would never be the same again. The new star. Sasha's voice trembled as he whispered, It's beautiful," while gazing at the shrinking Jupiter. Dr. Haywood Floyd, standing beside him, responded with a sense of certainty. It's a new beginning. The crew, gathered in a tight circle, watched in awe as Jupiter transformed into a radiant pearl against the cosmic backdrop. Walter Curnow pointed out an anomaly on Jupiter's surface, a black ellipse that seemed to cut through the clouds. Dr. Chandra, the AI specialist, peered at it and mused. "It's unlike anything we've ever seen. This mysterious ellipse, a perfect circle from above, was expanding rapidly, doubling in size within hours. It was a composite of countless tiny dots moving at near sonic speeds, giving it a blurred, out-of-focus appearance. A burst of light from Jupiter's core interrupted their theories, and Dr. Floyd's command to brace for impact was unnecessary as the light washed over them harmlessly. Relief and joy filled the air as the crew celebrated their survival. Dr. Chandra confirmed to Hal that all data had been recorded, noting Jupiter's core had achieved fusion. Floyd announced with mixed emotions, "Jupiter is no more. A new star has taken its place." The crew settled down to observe Europa, now basking in the glow of the newborn star. Curnow's curiosity about the European's fate was met with Floyd's contemplation of change and evolution. In silence, they watched the new star shine, a beacon heralding a future of unknown possibilities. As they gazed at the star, the crew's minds wandered to the implications of this new celestial body. The silence was broken by the sound of instruments beeping, signaling that it was time to prepare for their next phase. Floyd's voice rose above the din. "All right, crew, let's get back to work. We have a lot to do before we can call this mission a success." The crew reluctantly tore their eyes away from the view screen and began to attend to their duties, their excitement and wonder slowly giving way to the harsh realities of their task. The future of consciousness. "Do you think it will speak to us today?" a young European asked, his voice trembling with a mix of fear and excitement as they gathered around the enigmatic monolith, a towering beacon of mystery that had silently watched over them for eons. "It might," an elder replied, his eyes not leaving the black structure that pierced the horizon where eternal daylight battled the perpetual night. The messages have been growing stronger. The monolith, a colossal obsidian spire, stood as a testament to the unknown, its surface reflecting the dichotomy of their world, half basking in the sun's unwavering gaze, the other half shrouded in darkness. It was their symbol of the unattainable, surrounded by the circle of power that repelled all who dared approach. Yet, it was this very monolith that held the promise of unity with the celestial entities that once guided their ancestors. As the new star, Lucifer, blazed in the sky, its brilliance dwarfing the full moon and banishing the night, a soft hum began to emanate from the monolith. The Europeans, accustomed to this prelude, waited with bated breath. Suddenly, the monolith pulsed with light, and a voice profound and resonant filled the air. "Children of Europa," it began, "you stand at the threshold of destiny." The voice continued, its tone imbued with the wisdom of ages. "The time has come for change, for growth beyond the confines of your icy realm. The entities within me, your forebears, are ready to awaken and guide you." The voice paused, allowing its words to resonate among the crowd. "The transformation of Jupiter into a second sun has heralded this new age. Your technological strides have not gone unnoticed. Together, these signs mark your civilization's readiness for the next step." The elder European, his voice steady with newfound resolve, asked, "What does this new era entail for us?" "You will learn to harness the energies that flow through the cosmos," the voice answered. "You will explore the vastness of space and find kinship among the stars. The knowledge of the ancients will be yours to wield." A murmur of excitement passed through the Europeans as they pondered the voice's promise. The monolith's glow faded, and the soft hum receded into silence. The Europeans knew that the path ahead was fraught with unknowns, but the promise of their ancestors' wisdom gave them hope. With cautious optimism, they prepared to step into a future where they would not only witness the universe but also shape it.